welcome to Half the Battle. Today we're getting some DiC. And we'll be looking at the cartoon episode Keyboard Warriors. We start off in a castle that appears to be just in the middle of suburbia. Sure, makes sense. Where game developers are working on a giant computer.
Hey, is anyone there? You know that's an awfully big power plant for a computer game development lab.
Typically game developers don't have castles. Yes, okay, except for Richard Garriott.
It's a very competitive business, Mr. Wilson. Perhaps you'd prefer I told him he just hooked up the power supply to the secret Cobra computer?
Well, I don't even know where to start. First, why would Cobra need a civilian to hook up the power? Second, why say they're game developers? Any other computer profession would do. Third, how does Cobra Commander make the mouth on the mask he's wearing move if he's got a hood underneath? Though having a computer take over Cobra's forces is probably a smart move, considering how incredibly incompetent Cobra Commander usually is. It would probably be really fun to see an AI take on G.I.Joe, but that's not gonna happen because...
My son Kevin's a real computer whiz. Could I bring him by after everything's online?
This episode is gonna be about the damn kid, isn't it? Yep, the very next scene is two kids playing a computer game. And dear lord, is this peak 90s! Just look at the hair! That shaving was what all the cool kids were doing, right? To say nothing of the blonde kid's mullet. Anyway, the kid knows about the so-called game company.
How'd you like to play a much cooler computer game? Right here. But I don't think anybody would mind if we went to visit a little early.
Sure, kids, and I can just walk up to Blizzard Entertainment and play Diablo 4 or whatever. So they head to the castle. Seriously, I can't get over how it's a freaking castle, and they avoid the guards. Guards that are freaking battle android troopers. Yeah, good job you put them in uniforms. That way nobody will get suspicious. I mean, now there's just no way to tell they're freaking robots. God, this cartoon is stupid. They sneak in through the sewer because they've never heard of Pennywise, I guess, and make it to the completely unguarded supercomputer. Okay, to be fair, there is security, but Overkill, who's in charge, assumes it's just Destro sneaking in.
Ah, it must be Destro, returning to complete his programming.
I guess putting in a security camera or something would have been too much of an extravaganza.
Okay, we're in.
That was fast. Then again, I can totally see Cobra Commander's password being password. So the kids are free to work.
Please make your selection.
It's talking to us.
Theater-wide tactical warfare has been selected.
Yeah, War Games was a pretty great movie. I mean, that's what this is. That's all it is. Just the movie War Games, but as a cartoon.
Theater-wide tactical warfare has been selected.
Let's play global thermonuclear war. Fine.
So the kids launch an attack on G.I.Joe. And for the purpose of this episode, all of Cobra's forces are robots. Yeah, for plot convenience, they left out all the human troops Cobra usually has running around. Maybe that's why they needed a civilian electrician. The Joes fend off the attack, because it's still just a Cobra attack and that's what they do. Hell, all the kid did was send aircraft to attack. He isn't even controlling them himself. But on the other hand, he also isn't done yet.
I'll get him next time.
The Joes have captured Overkill, off camera I should add, and they try to interrogate him, but he's being controlled by the computer.
As the information you requested is classified, the correct answer is won't. Grunt? That name is not in random access memory.
So ASP, that's the computer's name by the way, finds Grunt's personnel file, leading to this.
It says he's a one-man assault force. In that case, I'm gonna use everything I got to conquer Grunt.
Conquer Grunt. Conquer Grunt.
I know it isn't meant to be, but conquer Grunt just sounds dirty, you know? The visuals don't help either. And focusing on his crotch isn't helping, cartoon.
Homing device planted on target for surveillance and ultimate destruction.
The Joes escape, taking Overkill prisoner once again so they can hook him up to their own computer, and both sides have to decide on their next move. So now we've got a supercomputer with a bunch of robots trying to take out one person. Yeah, I think we've gone from War Games to Terminator in 0 seconds. Come to think of it, Terminator could practically be a sequel to War Games. So the kids advance to Combat Level 2, which involves a robot shark. Because at this point, why the hell not? Kid, how old are you supposed to be? Also, that's not what sharks sound like. Well, maybe robotic ones do, I don't know. Since they can track Grunt, they can attack wherever he happens to be, in this case at the polar base. Wetsuit takes on the shark.
Yo, Joe!
You'll note his neck is exposed in freezing water. I'm pretty sure that would kill him in minutes.
Since the shark is probably a swimming bomb, I'd say lasers are out.
He isn't even carrying a laser though. All he has is an harpoon gun, as you can clearly see. Though, I suppose kudos are in order that they found a reason for once to not use fantasy laser guns, but an actual weapon. Hell, he even uses a freaking knife to kill the thing. I wonder if that's the reason they used nothing but robots as enemies. So that, just for one episode, the writers could go hog wild and actually kill enemies. With real weapons even. This must have been quite cathartic for a G.I. Joe writer. The kids next attack with ice sabers, but with the same lack of success. After all that, the Joes are finally able to hook Overkill up to their own computer to find out what the hell is going on. They backtrack the signal to the castle and go to pay it a visit.
Got it! Then let's go.
Boy, we've been playing for hours and we still haven't taken out Grunt.
Yeah, I fought World of Warcraft bosses like that. Also, yeah, how long have they been playing? Considering Grunt went from a G.I. Joe base to the polar region and now back to the United States? That seems like it should take days. Mullet Boy takes over at this point.
Okay, I'm gonna launch everything! Doomsday attack!
Doomsday attack? We're back to War Games, I guess. The defenses are no match for 3 G.I. Joe hang gliders, of course.
Hey, shitheads! You'll have to do better than that!
The hell? Did you hear that?
Hey, shitheads! You'll have to do better than that!
I'm really not sure what line of dialogue that actually was, but the audio mixing sure makes it sound like he's saying shitheads. Grunt makes it inside and faces his greatest foes. 2 middle school kids. Both sides are confused, but realize that Grunt isn't a computer character, and the kids thought they were playing a game. The computer has one final move though.
Grunt is in the facility. Self-destruct sequence is initiated. 20 seconds to conquest of Grunt.
Okay, that ending would have made War Games a lot darker. Of course, Grunt and the kids make it out in time, and so the day is saved. Well, not exactly saved. I mean, there was no day to save. All that really happened was a lot of collateral damage for both sides. And the episode ends with the kids apologizing, promising to stick to their own computer from now on. Not, with them ending up in Guantanamo Bay or anything. The episode even ends on a freeze frame. A freeze frame in a cartoon. And that was Keyboard Warriors.
Strange game. The only winning mood is not to play.
Oh yeah, it sucked. And for a variety of good reasons. First of all, you may have noticed I didn't mention Cobra Commander, Destro, or Metalhead after the first scenes. That's not because they weren't there. In fact, they show up a few times. It's because they were completely irrelevant to the plot! In a nutshell, Destro sees the computer activity but assumes it's Cobra Commander. So he sends Metalhead to stop him. Then the commander shows up, so it couldn't be him. Then at the end, Metalhead shows back up without any explanation what he did in the meantime for a gag. They couldn't even be bothered to write a short scene of him knocking on the door of the castle with no answer or something. So the whole of Cobra Command did nothing for the plot after the introduction. Bra frickin' vo. Then there's the voice acting, specifically grunts.
Wetsuit, Big Bear, follow us.
Dear God, he always sounds like he's filing paperwork, even when he's running for his life.
Wetsuit, Big Bear, follow us.
And considering the toy this appearance is based on, one that's continuously screaming, that's weird. There is a small blurb on the file card that says he's always calm in a crisis, but if that's what they were going for, with the voice direction, boy did they fail. Lastly, there's the plot itself. Look, G.I. Joe never ever needed child characters so that kids could have somebody to identify with. Unlike Transformers, who had Spike and later Daniel, or Mask, who had Scott Trekker, G.I. Joe never bothered with that. Until DiC came along and decided to cram characters like the 90s Wonder Twins here in. And they couldn't even do that right. One of the kids is supposed to be a computer whiz, but all he does is tell the computer to attack, and it does everything for him. That's not a computer game! Yes, except for Final Fantasy XIII. The only other thing he does is tell the thing to focus on grunt. And all Cobra attacks are just as inept as the ones from the real Cobra leaders. A better story would have seen the kids kicking the Joe's ass, winning engagements. And instead of having Cobra Commander sit with his thumb up his ass all episode, have him discover the kids, take them and the dead prisoner, and force them to keep playing the so-called game. Then have the kid discreetly warn the Joes so they could attack the castle, freeing them. Much better than the bullcrap we got. As is, there's just one thing left to say about this episode. The only winning move is not to watch. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody, and hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?